What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Washed Up Club. Welcome to episode Juan.
Yeah,
I've got my host, co-host here, Zach Balldeep, Brendan Beast.
We still haven't found a cool
Brendan
nickname
Beast.
for him.
Yeah, that's, it's not really a
Don't worry,
possible
at least
thing.
he's got Brendan Beast. You just call me Adam.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Reedus
Adam
or something
Reedus.
Nothing.
stupid
I
like
don't
that.
have anything cool.
I wouldn't have a clue.
So we're back.
We're back.
Double digits.
Episode Juan
One.
is 11. Just
For
for
the
everyone.
people that are fucking idiots. Oh,
Just
no.
for the... I won't say that. Anyway. on to the first topic of today,
You want me to hit
which
it?
is...
Oh, yeah, all right.
Everyone's favourite topic.
I've got
isn't it?
two for you.
Oh, no, here we
Once
go.
again, forgot the set. No,
Alright.
do you guys have a video that just always makes you laugh, like a TikTok? Because I have one in mind.
Yeah, I always laugh
Yeah,
at that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're gonna need to paint more of a photo.
That's
Vic.
the whole thing. That's all of it.
All right. Well, mine is the one where the lad's doing CPR in front of like the class, and he like slaps
Yeah.
the dummy's head, and I'll like randomly start
I
laughing.
thought
at
you were
the
talking
thought
about
of
the Office snippet, the one where Dwight's trying to teach everyone how to do CPR and cuts the dummy's face off and wears it. Have you not seen it?
I have not
It's
seen
hilarious.
That.
It's,
I've never really
people-
watched
yeah.
The Office.
People will,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's one of those things I've always gone, I should watch that, but just never.
yeah. I'm the exact same. I can get through like
Which
one or two
one
episodes.
should you
and
watch?
That's what it is.
Do you watch the
though.
American one or the UK one?
That's-
The UK one's the original one? Yeah. I got
think
that
so.
right?
You got to watch the American one, surely.
I think that's
Surely.
what gets me. Everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta watch it! You gotta watch it!" And then you come up to watching it, and you're like, "Oh, we've got an option here. Like,
Yeah.
what one do I watch? I don't want to commit to one
I feel
and
like
be
the
like,
one with Michael Scott and Dwight and all that sort of stuff. That should be the, I don't know, that's the one I see almost. All
"That's the
time,
one
so.
I hear about
Surely.
most."
Surely.
How
Are
do
they-
you don't know the TikTok?
I don't.
What?
I'm sorry. I've ruined this bit.
That's
We're
Alright,
gonna have to
just-
go back and
Alright,
watch it.
just imagine 10 seconds of silence.
Wow.
No.
Oh.
Start the timer again.
That's the whole.
Oh my God.
That's the whole TikTok.
I hate you. You guys are so much younger than me sometimes. It's actually painful. Zach, do you have a better one than that, please? Please paint a picture with words.
Yeah, if everyone can shut.
Oh, no.
No. I think I showed you guys this beforehand. I've always seen that motorbiking video, and when he goes to do the whip, so there's a video online on TikToks and just everywhere of this pro motorbiker. Would you call him that?
Motorcyclist.
Motorcyclist, motorbiker,
Motorbike rider.
motorbike rider.
Motorcyclist.
Yeah, motorbikist.
Something quick.
Something like
Motorized bikist.
that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Alright, keep going.
Yeah, he tries to just ride disgustingly, and it's just terrible. But when he goes up and tries to do a whip, and he flicks his head back like 3 times, that always goes.
It is
me.
quality.
I don't know. There used to be a guy that like popped off on YouTube for a little while, and he had a similar video. He's on like a Pee-wee 50, and he's doing like a very similar thing.
Got an issue with like,
For the video.
have a drink.
For the video listeners, that is not a thing, Adam. For the audio listeners, Zach has the most obscene cup ever.
pretty good.
You're
I won't elaborate on it. It's just for people that
Tell
want
the
to check us
great
out on
joke
the
on
YouTube.
tell the joke that's on
The joke that's on the side of this cup: a camel can go 8 days without a drink, but who wants to be a camel?
it. Facts.
Anyway, mic drop.
Mic drop.
I'm actually out for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
See you later.
Well, you've done all the bits,
That's all I needed to do.
and you've done all the bits. So
Yeah.
we're completely out.
We're completely out of ideas.
So-
No, we're actually not.
We got plenty of ideas.
We got plenty of
Plenty
stuff
of
to
ideas
talk
as
about.
we look at Brendan.
Yeah.
Brendan.
So last week we discussed the weirdest car
You
we'd
never
like to
sorted
own.
out your video that you.
My video.
Yeah.
My video was the slapping video.
Yeah, the slap. Have
The
you not
dummy
seen that
one.
Wait, what?
He's like doing CPR.
Oh
and
yes,
it's not
sorry,
working.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I do remember.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
yeah,
he
sorry.
just
Continue.
Slaps him across the
Yeah,
face.
You've
Sorry.
given Zach too many drinks. he's in another realm. He's
Yeah.
like me. He's
Yeah,
a
not gonna
lightweight.
lie, I've been very PG tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Sorry. Anyway, continue. Your next topic.
So I had the thought, what is the car that we'd all want for every situation. You don't get to change. You have one car you get to pick.
So I think for those of you who haven't sort of got onto what we're talking about this topic, if you go back and watch the last episode, what did we talk about? We talked about
The
the weirdest car that you would want to own and why. But this one's an interesting one.
Yeah, because I want
don't
to
know.
hear your reasoning to why it's like the best car. Because I think
Yeah.
personally, like my one's really stereotypical, but then it's also like I already kind of had it and
Wait.
I didn't like it.
What was the
Interesting.
question? What'd you say? What'd you say? No, you changed
What
it.
is the best car for you? You
For
have to
me.
drive it to work. You have to go tracking it or whatever you want to do with it, off-roading. And it
well,
has to be what you see as perfect.
Does
A long
money matter?
drive. No.
It doesn't matter.
Money doesn't
So
matter.
fuel economy doesn't matter.
I suppose not.
The cost of
But I want you to factor that in. Like, do you want to be driving some...
Well,
like,
if I have $1 billion, then yeah, it doesn't matter what I drive.
I don't think you have $1 billion. You've got... Okay.
No, what's $1 billion going to count for anyway? Because the most
No, but
expensive
like-
Where
car
are you
is
going
like,
if you have $1 billion?
No, like if I'm driving to and from work,
Why are
Okay.
you going to work?
because I just want to contribute to the community. All
God.
right.
contribute to society.
Yeah, right.
Bloke's a billionaire and he's like, yeah, I'll still go working 9 to 5. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, someone's gonna do it.
The people that don't have $1 billion, I guess. The people that need the money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
What's your car then?
No, keep going.
I'd like
I'm just
to
trying to get the specifics.
I'd like to put
It's such a broad question.
Okay. $100,000 budget. It's got to suit your every need.
That's so
You
low.
only allowed one car.
So
That's why I picked
so $100,000
Christ.
budget on the current wage that I'm on. So someone just gave me $100,000 but said you have to get a car with that.
Yep.
Then I have to live my life.
Yep.
Okay. Go.
Wait.
Do you want a second to think about
Is this
it?
for the rest of my life?
Yes,
Like, I
yes,
physically
this
have
is your
This
car
is my
for the
only
rest of
car
your
for the
life.
rest of my life.
Yes.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And so I know Zach's really not a kid person, but you know, you got to think babysit. You got to think long,
Nah,
you
screw
know,
it, I'm never having
holidays.
kids.
You got to
Does
think
40
kids are
styles
the
count as
worst.
one car?
you.
What was this?
Does 40 styles count as one car?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know why you'd want more than two.
When the other one breaks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brenny's on Marketplace looking for a third.
Yeah. Well, we were thinking the other day it'd be really good to get like a race starlet.
What do you mean?
So we
You
have a track
race style.
starlet, we have a daily starlet, and then we have a part starlet.
I like the idea. The budget enduro style.
No, I don't want to do that. Like,
Oh,
I
come
watched you thrashing on that Honda, and I was like, no.
He
no
does the budget enduro on the way to work every day. Because it takes him 10 hours to get there.
Legit.
Oh, I gotta swap tires halfway through doing brakes.
Oh,
It's
that's
quite the
hilarious.
drive.
I like it.
So I'll give you guys a sec to think about yours.
All right,
but
do you already have yours?
so mine was always actually my S13. But then it became, you're an idiot. Then it became super impractical to drive an S13 with tiny boy wheels. So I had to think about it. And I've always liked 86s and BRZs and stuff. But I think for me, it would be an S15. So picture like I could kit up a nice S15, put some 18s on it, you know, have a nice looking car, but it's still not a super impractical daily. And then it's a fun weekend car. I can grip race it. I can drift it. I can daily it.
How are you going to put the kids in there?
They actually are able to have a baby seat. I know it's not a great solution, but I don't think there's ever going to be a great solution for. Like, would you
Because
rather?
nothing says safety like an S13 with no airbags.
They'll have a cat-
no
Oh, wait,
nothing.
I said 15
Oh,
as the
S15.
optimal
did say
car
15.
that
okay,
will have
right, yeah.
airbags, and the baby can
Like one airbag for
yeah,
the driver.
for the passenger probably.
so you can crash, the driver can survive, the
Yeah.
rest of the family's just gone.
Yeah,
You have to live with
You're
that
really
guilt.
painting a picture right now.
Yeah,
it's very
I'm
upsetting.
just making sure you make the right decision here.
Look, the baby thing wasn't as in my thought with this question. It was more so like the car that you daily to work as well as go on your weekend adventures for you, and Zachary and I would end up trying to take to the track and trying to take on road trips and
100K budget.
yeah.
That throws a spanner.
And
in the
how
works.
you'd modify it too, because like I just picture like quite a simple car, you know, some big boy wheels, some big boy tires, a little bit of power, little kit, you know, looking pretty.
That's a hard one.
I
You go.
have an interesting one.
I honestly thought
Because
Adams would be
I
his
know
car.
that I'm going to progress and grow in the future without having kids, right? So I'm going to prosper. I'm going to, I'm going to want to go do stuff.
Dink.
I'm going to want to go traveling. Something that's nice and big and comfortable, which still has a little bit of performance behind it.
Let me guess what he's gonna say.
What?
An XR6 turbo sedan.
No, fuck, no. I will not get a Falcon again.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You said it in the last podcast, right? Now I've been looking at them and thinking about them. On my throat.
The Pajero.
Yeah.
Really?
Pajero Evo. You can tow with them. You can go off road with them.
Well, you
can
can't
track
tow.
them.
You're not having another car. You
Yeah.
have
No.
one car to
How
rule
much,
the
can you
world.
tow?
how much can you tow with that?
I don't know. I'm
caravan.
sure you could.
Yeah, you
Zach's
go on
life
trips.
just train.
I'm
No,
sure
no,
you
no.
could take
don't-
a
no.
caravan
Take
somewhere.
caravans, yeah.
Yeah.
Camp
100%.
How
trailers.
much does Zach go caravanning?
You never know. He's
That's the thing.
future-proofing himself.
The car he's going to spend the rest of his life, he's just going to completely be like, no, I don't do
No,
truck
but
stuff
you
anymore.
could get
You can track
this
in-
is
this is an
elite.
Evo.
This is elite because you could get it. You could
This is elite.
track it.
Yeah.
You could track it. You could set it up for track, and then you could
Yeah.
change it for the caravan.
Nothing saying I can't lower it.
Yeah, all right.
It's
You know?
it's a lifted Evo, which I'm more next week, so it's all good.
I mean, it's not really. It's a completely different motor.
It's completely different motor, completely different driveline. Actually, the whole thing is completely
It's
different.
just it's
but
just
it's
called an
mad.
Evo.
But like, I'd buy a Pajero anyway, just to tow and do stuff anyway. Like, they're kind of cool, aren't they?
I'll accept it. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
I
I mean, it's
I
not-
thought you were just thinking one
I've th-
direction.
Yeah.
I've thought of worse
The
ones.
band.
For people who
I
don't
thought of
know this
worse
car.
ones. What a backhanded compliment. I thought of worse cars to have for the rest of your life, but
For the people that don't know, this is a Mitsubishi Pajero Evo, which is like a Dakar car. They
Yeah.
basically just built it so they could compete in
if you
Dakar.
haven't actually seen them, go check them out. We can't Google stuff, but you guys can, unless you're driving, in which case, wait till you get home. But yeah,
Just
it's
do
a
it
really cool
discreetly.
car.
Um,
My
Dude,
cup,
Adam!
my
No.
cup has spider webs on it, bro.
Yeah, it's vintage.
That's
That's
your
all
choice.
right.
Adam pulled his finest. I don't even know what you'd call
I
that.
can get the shoe glass.
Yeah, the
That's-
muggeth.
That's my
The
favorite.
mug.
The muggeth.
Let's call it the mug.
The muggeth of all. So I kind of thought you'd pick your own car. I kind of feel
Look,
like
I'm
you
thinking
have.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm heavily considering it.
Yeah,
So
right.
what were the other options before you weren't a billionaire?
Oh, when I was a billionaire.
No, when you're not a billionaire, what car do you want?
Oh.
$100,000.
$100,000. It's a hard one. It's so hard. It's so much harder for me
Wow.
Wow.
because I have a whole nother
Ah.
thing to
It's,
think about.
look, it's not actually happening. It's
What
just
do you
a
mean?
theory.
I thought you were giving me
It's
$100
just
grand.
a fun game.
Oh.
Just,
But I want to be right.
just pick a fucking car.
Well, including all the mods, yeah. I reckon my car,
Yeah.
30 grand. Then I reckon a built 2J.
All right.
Whoa. What? Why?
Drives to work.
Yeah. So what? That's how much is a built 2J?
30 grand.
Well, maybe not fully built, but
30
just like,
grand.
How much power are you chasing?
Putting that in your car,
not,
30 grand.
Not
I reckon.
crazy.
Not crazy. Well,
Surely
just-
20.
What would you say? Not crazy.
30.
20.
30.
25. Maybe.
Yeah, right. All right, I can do that. Let me just pencil this in for
so
you.
we're at 55. Yeah. So that leaves plenty of money for touring setup
Yep.
and for any other shit that it needs, which is
How much it's going to break?
No, that doesn't count. You didn't say repairs.
Don't point at me
You
so
didn't-
aggressively.
You didn't say repairs. You only said mods.
All right, yeah.
All right, so it's like diff locks, which is probably like $5 grand overall.
And is this something
Then
you would
a,
drive
then a
to
good
work?
good transmission is probably like 10K.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've spent the whole budget, man.
Oh.
Blowing
Isn't that
it.
the point?
Yeah.
Why
yeah,
would I
just-
spend less
No,
than the
but
budget?
I'm just saying, like, how
I'm
are you going to drive
describing
this
my
Oh
thing
yeah,
to work?
car.
my Evo Pajero's got 1,000 horsepower. I forgot about
well, that's
that.
fine.
I forgot about that.
Sorry, I just throw it in there. Yeah, my
no,
bad.
no,
that's
but
fine.
how
If
you,
it's
like,
within the budget,
you
it's
would
within the
like to
budget.
drive that to work, you think?
Yeah, if it had a really good
Like-
auto transmission.
600
You
horsepower
start it in the
sequential
morning, your
2J.
neighbor's like, oh.
That's not my problem.
Oh, no.
Bro, I'm telling you, if it was a good 2J, so
Yep.
like decent, like whatever torque you can get out of
What
2J, which
power?
is not,
What power do you
I
want
don't
from
really care. Just more than normal.
more than normal?
Why would you
Yeah.
not Barra? That's an interesting
fit.
one. Doesn't fit.
Doesn't
Yeah.
fit.
Wow.
Not in that
Anything
car.
will fit with enough money, mate.
Anything
too
will,
tall. It
will
doesn't
fit with
fit in that
enough
car.
illegal modification.
Yeah.
Fair
Just
enough.
no front to the car.
No, if it would fit, I would have gone to Barra, but it won't fit
Alright.
in that car. It's way
Interesting.
too tall.
All right, and how do you think that would go on your touring, like
I think
long
it would
distance?
be all right because of the transmission. Because
Okay.
like I don't know what pairs.
You want some long gear thing?
Yeah, I don't know what pairs with a 2J, but like some really nice Tiptronic auto something.
Like a
I don't know
BMW
what it is.
8-speed or something, like a ZF.
I don't know.
No clue.
People have been doing that a lot in rotaries recently, and it's really cool. It's odd.
Really?
Yeah, they've been doing like
Auto.
like pack
Auto
performance
rotary.
are now full on like the BMW ZF sort of
I know
weird things. It's weird.
rotaries are used in dragging a bit.
Yeah.
Why? Aren't they a bit slower off the line?
No, not at all.
No?
No.
Not when you launch them at 9,000.
Dude, an
RPM.
NA3 rotor will make 600 horsepower any day of the week. You slap a massive, big
Once.
freaking G50,000
I-
on once.
It only has to go down the once.
It's like
Yeah.
it flies over the lines.
They are quick. Plus, they're high revving, so it kind of helps with the power glide and stuff because you can just click 2 gears and it's there. They're fast.
That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
So anyway, 2J. Interesting choice. I would have thought you going something like a little more modern, a little more. I don't know.
That's what worried me about my one. Is
Nah.
like
Yeah.
S15s are like a 20-year-old.
Would you
car
mod your
now.
S15?
You've got a
very
100K
simple.
Like,
budget.
put an
What
actual
would you
good
do
engine
with
in
an
it, or-
S15?
100K budget
Yeah.
would legitimately be like a repair ability for the S15. It would have
No,
a
but
spare
we're not
everything.
talking repairs. We're talking mods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like no, I wouldn't.
You
I wouldn't
specifically
do,
said
okay.
mods.
Talking
I would
power.
not do much to it. I'd
Oh.
turn it up to like 250
You're
kilowasps.
You're lying.
Yeah, no, I would.
If you got the money sitting there,
Yeah,
you're
bloke's
only
got
gonna make
100K and just
200
says,
horsepower.
someone gives you
I have
100K and say,
enough
you can
money to
use this
make
on a
my
car.
car
And you're just
faster.
like, I'm just going to spend 50 on an S15, keep it nice
Yeah.
and pretty.
Yeah, just keep,
No, I wouldn't
just
do
keep
it.
the 50
Just keep
grand.
the other 50K. I won't even use it for
Bullshit.
mods.
No, I don't
That's
think
disappointing.
So you-
because
you
I'm
wouldn't- you wouldn't
thinking
use the
purely
whole
I want to
budget.
drive this every day.
66% of you want us want you off this
You
podcast
wouldn't-
right now.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
wouldn't use the whole budget.
I'd try to, but like it would just be buying the nicest crap I can,
do you
and like
mean?
I just would.
That's the point of this.
But I want a car that starts easy.
It will.
Brendan, it's theoretical, all right?
Yeah, and it's not. It's gonna start easy and gonna drive me to work every day because
Yeah,
I just
mine,
spent 100 grand.
mine
on-
would because I just spent 100 grand on it.
No,
It'd
it
start
wouldn't, bro.
perfect.
You won't be going to work every day with an SR20, bro. I'm not
Yeah,
going to
that's
lie. I
fair.
won't start.
Wait, I did that.
Did you really?
Yeah, he did.
I was dealing the S13. The only thing is, it became this super rare piece of crap,
Yeah.
and now I'm too scared of some old lady riding me off. So I'm scared to drive it. I love dailying that car, and that's why I was like S15 would be fine because it's a little bit more modern, you know.
Oh, it's
I
definitely
put big-
nowhere near as rare as an S13, is it? No.
Well, that's the same problem, but that's why. That's why my initial thought was actually an 8.6, but I'm
So
like,
you have
eh.
a 50K budget for the S15 and a 50K budget in case grandma
Yeah,
runs
right.
into you and fixes it
A
up.
replacement, hence my
right.
replacement.
Okay, radio.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't really want a huge amount of power. It would just be like a really nicely done car, I suppose.
I can understand.
Like
that.
I'd rather a really aesthetically pleasing car and hope that no one doors me. But like, you got to remember,
the
you got to
thing you're
take
gonna
this
have
to
to
the
think about-
shops every day.
Right, you have to
yeah, I
drive this
drove
for
it.
the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
do you think that police will never pull you over in this thing? Imagine if you get
Well, we haven't.
defected and you go, oh, I got no money. Oh, you got 50K left.
Well,
You
yeah,
can
I would
fix
have
it up,
50K left to fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we stated that it was mods.
Yeah.
It wasn't repairs, fixes, or anything.
Yeah, but
That's a different
you've
budget.
also I like that, Zachary, because you've made this you've made this police fucking magnet, whereas mine was like
No,
this.
it wouldn't be.
No, because 100K,
It wouldn't be.
He's got it mod plated.
Yeah.
That's fair
It's
point.
sorta.
That's fair point. I'll mod plate everything.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Oh, your stock S15.
My,
Yeah.
my
On your-
GTR,
on your
bro.
non-modified S15.
I'd be getting yep. I know these aren't the factory seats. Mod plated.
Yeah.
What seats are you putting in it?
I don't know. R34 seats.
So you're
Do they
saying
go in
your
nicely?
90-year-old ass is going to be getting into a set of Bride Low Maxes in your
No,
S15?
I'm
He
a
already
firm
does
believer.
that.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm a firm believer of not dailying a car with bucket seats.
Okay.
Everyone's like,
Yeah,
well, it's
that's
not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not the same as hopping in a nice car.
It's not that bad.
Your seats are not bad.
What do you
Although
mean?
I like
They're stock.
no, but they're like padding's not bad. It like holds you
yeah.
a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's not too much that you're like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's what I like. My S13 has S15 seats in them. I feel like they're kind of similar, a little bit less.
So you're going to
bolstering.
put BRZ seats in your S15? You dig
I
it
don't
into the
like how they look.
You dig it into the
They're
budget
like
there,
pointy, bro. The top of them is like a triangle.
Yeah.
We went for a cruise in Zachary's car to get some McDonald's.
It's got so much room
this
in
is
it.
Starlet.
Starlet has more room.
It has
Starlet
more
has
room.
so much
It has
room.
more power.
Power.
It has more clout. It's just better in every
turns
way.
more heads.
I'm not gonna lie, the Starlet was so much more comfortable.
Gets less traction.
It actually would turn more heads.
It would. 100%.
It would. How many people have you got? Is
We
that
just
your
have to
Starlet?
look at Randy's video last week
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
literally see that he liked the Starlet way more than the BRZ.
You want to know the one thing I hate about working our events is that I drive my Starlet through the pits and every moron's like, yeah, rev it up, yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm
And
like,
that's funny.
no. Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to please the crowd, but like, they're not moving. They look at my car as this person has no right to be at the drift event, and they do not move. Meanwhile, if they knew that I was actually being a part of keeping the event together, or if I was in a cool drift car, they would turn around and move. But because I'm in a boring car, they're like, and then they just, yeah. So I have to like weave through the traffic. Whereas if I had some, you know, like if you rolling in the RX-7 would have been like, everyone's like, oh wow, and turn and move and acknowledge.
See, I have that issue though where if I roll through a car meet or if I roll through something with the RX-7,
can't
everyone
move.
gets out their phones and they just sit there and they just stand behind the car.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, dude, I cannot see out of this thing whatsoever. Can you please stop filming me and like direct me or some shit? Because I got no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
price
dumb.
of fame.
Yeah. I thought everyone gets out.
Suffering.
Well, no, an
Suffering from
RX-7 is a
success.
cheat code of the car meet, not going to lie. It's like you rock up there with an RX-7 and just everyone gets their phones out and films it. Doesn't matter
I
who
didn't
you
even
are.
realize there was a game.
Yeah, it's a cheat.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's definitely a game.
It's
Yeah.
like R1, R2, no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Who's ever filmed
I-
your car, bro? Just saying.
Huh?
Who's ever filmed your car, bro?
A lot of people.
I always get roasted. I drive in and lower it, loser, and I want to be like, it's a daily. Like,
It's,
well,
it's a daily.
I was just like,
Okay, 30-year-old.
I just don't like
Whoa.
it. I don't like the judgmentalness at car meets now. It's gotten very toxic.
I just don't go to any.
If you're not like airbagged and whatnot, it's like, oh really? You haven't even modified your
You
car.
sounded like a 30-year-old, bro.
Yeah.
If you're not like
Because you're that person rolling
airbagged
in,
right now.
rolls in with his
Literally.
RX-7 like, everyone loves me. I bet you never go to a car meet in the 8.6. BLZ.
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100, probably not often. Definitely not often, no.
Yeah.
No, if I go to a car meet with the
Because
86.
you're like, oh, I need the attention.
No, at least no. If I go to a car meet in the BRZ, I do park it at the very back.
Yeah.
I don't put it in the show because there's nice cars
That's
that
me,
go to
yeah.
the show. Yeah, but then it's the people, it's the P-platers that go there with their stock 8.6 that park right front and
See?
center. When
He's
there's
the
a-
toxic person.
I'm not the toxic
Judging
person,
the P-plater
No,
that, you know.
I'm not judging, but
yeah.
but
I'll be judging the P-platers.
yeah. See, Australian car meets are different to Japanese car meets, so because.
Here we go.
where are we going with this?
Yeah, where are we going with
Well,
this?
like if you go to Taikoku, PA, and there's just cars, there's everything there. But if you go to an Australian car meet, it's like all the RX-7s that go park with each other, and all the Silvias that go park with each other, and all the I don't know. I've always noticed this.
I
like
didn't notice that.
people rock up with like
You
a
pay
crew.
way too much attention.
Yeah.
People rock up with a crew. Like sure, yeah. Come on, no.
Oh, yeah, but
No.
like I don't
Yeah,
have like
yeah.
a culty.
Oh,
no, I
no,
don't
no,
think
it's
anyone would.
RX-7 owners are superior.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would be like,
rolling.
don't park your Silvio next to my RX-7.
What?
That's him.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you to go to park next to him when he had his RX-7 and be like,
no.
who are you?
Yeah, he spat on me.
No, I don't do that. I just feel like when you go to a car meet, if you have a car, you rock up with like you gather your little group, and then you go to the car meet. And you'll
Yeah.
park together. It's like a cool.
Well,
but
yeah, that's
Taikoku
different.
PA is a little bit different because you
I've
sort of
always-
just roll up and you just park up there and it's cool.
I've
You're
never
saying
had
they have no
showy
friends.
cars. I've never had showy cars, so I've always like, even when I had my Supra, like I knew it was like stock Supra with wheels. I'd
Yeah.
just go park wherever there was a spot.
Yeah.
You know, but that like I have a mate that like did detailing and his car was immaculate, and that's why I like treated
Yeah.
your car when we rolled into that car meet. I'm like, oh, there's a pole there, and if I park my car far here, Zach will get
He
like
didn't
a nut.
park next to you because you don't have an RX-7. So
Yeah,
you
well,
stop
I
down
parked
the
in
front.
another car park after Zach spat on me. no, I thought I parked like across and gave him a good
No,
space.
I think you're
and then he
Subaru.
drove into another spot, and I'm like,
No,
he's like
I-
parked beside
I
like
like
a
the
van.
WRX.
The disrespect.
I like the W. I'm inclusive. I parked beside
No,
the
I
van
just-
because he might have been there for the car meet. I was just gonna be nice.
I just
to
thought it
him.
was weird, I had a spot out. I'm like,
Mm.
Zachary's car's cooler and more expensive, give him the better spot.
Yeah.
Maggie and I, like, legit, Maggie drives her car to work every day, gets... You should see the people where she works.
I see cars as cars now. I've been through way too many. I'm
Yeah.
just like, a car is a car. Car is car. And I'm
You
like happy,
literally
and-
parked beside, like, a van that I was like 19 kids are about to hop into that. Come on your car. And then you'll do your Instagram story. It's disrespectful.
I know
no,
you're
to-
referring to
Yeah,
my
get
car. They
roasted.
freaking keep it reek car me.
To be
That was
fair.
disrespectful though. That was a bitch.
Because, like, if you got it, I feel like if you got your car doored at
Yeah.
a shopping center,
I can understand
You'd
if
be
you
like-
door my car and you leave a note. I understand that. But if you come along and key someone's car, it's like it's a little
Yeah.
bit different. It's a little bit different.
Can you just tell that story about what happened at the Keep It Read?
Yeah,
event?
I guess I could. So yeah, I went to the first ever Keep It Real event that I worked at, and I took the RX-7 there, and it was really dusty. It was the FD layout, so we're all parked in like the show and shiny bit, and it's like not the best
I
showy
wasn't.
shiny bit, is it? Because it's very dusty and not shiny. So yeah, I was there parked from I think 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. and I walked out. Oh no, sorry, 11 p.m. Walked out to my car, and someone had literally just got their hand, and the car was disgustingly dusty.
Which happens when the smoke is blowing a certain direction because
Yeah.
all the dust and smoke and everything goes
Debris.
over everything.
Yeah.
So everything gets dirty.
It was ridiculous. Like everyone's car there was just covered in layers of dust. Anyway, I came back and someone had full just hand printed over the whole bonnet, just rubbed the whole bonnet down free of dust.
that's so nice of them.
I
Yeah,
know,
they
I know.
cleaned
They're
your
just
car for
cleaning
you.
all the dust off my car. This was like a week after we'd had a long weekend, and I had just like fully polished my car. And when I do that, I take like 2 or 3 days to do this thing. The car was
Why Zach always says he's busy.
immaculate. So I'm always so busy.
I'm busy, guys.
It's therapeutic. It's nice.
I don't mind a good clean.
It's
I
good.
definitely, as my car's got more ratchet, less caring about
Yeah.
that, you know?
Have you ever like sat down and done with a dual action polisher and just gone over
I can't
individual
afford that.
spots? You can borrow mine.
No,
But no, like literally, if you look like with a phone light and you see like a tiny little scratch, you can get that out if you just sit there and just.
I've
do it.
always wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I want to buy like a plebby one, not a good one, because I firstly don't want to spend the money on a good one.
Yeah.
But I want to learn with my own thing and learn with the crap thing that I will use.
Yeah,
If I learn to use your one and it babysits me, then I go and burn holes through my paint with my crap one, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. There's definitely a fine line, and you can feel it. You can feel the hate, like the heat radiating off.
The hate.
You feel the hate. You can feel the hate.
You're a loser. You're using it cheap.
You can
feel
feel
the
the
hate.
heat radiating off the paint usually,
Yeah.
and usually when the pad starts smoking and the glue starts smoking, usually
when
it's
the
a
thing
good
gets stuck
time
to the car.
Yeah, usually it's a good time to take it off.
No,
the paint.
because my car's not very clean anymore. She a bit
Yeah.
ratchet. I thought it would be a good car to learn on, and then like I would like
Yeah.
to paint my own car someday. And
I would
learn
love
that.
to teach you. I feel like that'd be good fun.
Yeah,
I've done it before. It's really good fun. But just keep in mind it will be a weekend. I'm sorry.
I'll give you one day.
We can actually do it in one day.
Yeah, that's
fine.
my maximum.
We can do it one stage, but yeah, it's good.
One stage, sand the paint off.
All
right,
right, so
well,
I'd like
it's raw aluminium.
so when I went over this RX-7, like when I bought it, it had a few swirl marks in it. It was pretty good because it had just been repainted, but I did see swirl marks in it. So any little tiny scratch I could see in that car, I was there for hours making sure that every single scratch was out of this paint. So when you see it in the sun, it's pure yellow. Like it is just, there's not a single scratch in the car. Look at the freaking cut that. All right. So
Cut.
yeah, I was doing the car, and yeah, no, I like took it out the next morning just to see it in the sun and see what the damage was. And sure enough, the thing was scratched to the shit house. Like someone had dragged like a ring or something over it. There was some really deep scratches in the thing, and it was not fun.
You'd think car people would have a... Because I
Yeah.
don't expect everyone to understand like paint and how easily it does
Yeah.
scratch and the effort that people put in and the time. But I am a firm, like, if I don't know someone's industry anymore or their interest or their passion or the time it takes, I'm just like, apart from on the podcast, I'll be a bit more judgmental because it's fun and funny.
Yeah.
But like in real life, like someone playing piano, and if they mess up or something, like, like, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna roast them because I'm like, that's
Yeah.
probably very hard to do, you know, like,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with cars. Like I've just learned, like I don't know what effort people are willing to. I'm willing to sit on my car and put drinks on my car, and I've even crawled over my car like a moron. I dents the roof. I wouldn't recommend it. But you know, like everyone has their own different thing. Don't touch other people's thing. You don't know their level of care for that thing. You know, don't assume their care factor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And like, I'd spent so long on this car, and this car is immaculate. Like, there is not, I mean, apart from the front bumper carbon that doesn't line up, and there was like, I think 3 stone chips that I had since I owned it, since the paint was brand new, and they drove me mental, and I touched them up and I could still see them. No one else would see this at all.
Yeah.
The rims were perfect. The tires
Bro,
were
my car's
amazing.
ratchet and people don't notice half the stuff on it.
But yeah, no, I was a little bit pissed off about that because they'd deliberately gone out and just wiped dust. And no one, like, you get taught from a kid you don't wipe dust off cars.
Maybe you just got a bunch of haters.
You don't get taught from a kid you don't 100%. Wipe dust off.
Did you never get told as a kid you don't touch cars that are dirty?
I just don't touch other people's cars when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Really?
But some people have not taught their kids that respect because they don't have that same respect for their car.
So when you were a kid, right, and you walked up to your parents' car and it was just covered in dust and you wanted to draw a smiley face on it, would your parents just go, "Oh, go for it"? Go.
Firstly, yes.
Really?
Secondly, as a kid, and I would recommend this to any parents, I was always told get my hand on the car. It was like a little rule. So when I hopped out of the car at car parks and stuff, I wasn't distracted. I was like, no,
That's fair enough.
Get my hand on the car.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough.
But
that is your own car, though.
Like
your parents' car.
Yeah,
it is your own car.
That's exactly it. I wouldn't have gone and drawn on someone else's car, but you'll find that not everyone has the same parenting as you, Zachary, and some people don't care about your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only thing that bums me out is that it's an event related to cars where people should understand that, you know?
Oh, exactly right, yeah.
I reckon Zach just has haters.
Yeah, it's haters.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Can't believe you sold the Falcon.
Can't believe you sold the Falcon, mate.
Scratch.
Used to follow you for
originally
your
it said,
Falcon
don't
content.
sell the Falcon cockhead. And then I went past and wiped that off for you.
I can't believe people would do that. You know, I got a random message today. Very odd message, all right?
From a fan.
I don't know who it was, all right? Some random guy today, okay? I haven't owned this car in how long now? This Falcon?
Didn't you say 4 years?
Yeah, something like, I think so. Anyway, I got a message today saying, "Love your Falcon, bro."
They probably watched one of your old videos.
He probably ended up buying it. It's 9 owners deep and he owns it now. Love you, Falcon, bro. Did a fat skid in the streets. I had a question for you, Zachary.
Yeah,
when you cut and polished that car and got it immaculate, did you like 3 days later go, fuck, because you missed a scratch or something? That's what I would always be worried about.
No, because I was very meticulous about this. I was like to the point where I was like going over every single possible thing to look at, and I took it out into the sun and looked at it from every possible angle again to the point where
I saw the sunlight.
Yeah,
because it's never allowed to run in daytime.
I literally pushed it out of the garage.
Yeah. I don't want to start it.
Well, it's annoying because when it starts, it kicks up all the dust.
Oh my
so
God.
I literally every time I start it, I push it out of the garage and out into the driveway and then start it because otherwise it'll just kick up dust and stink out my house. Don't do this to me. The stinking out the house bit's fine because it sets off it sets off smoke alarms. They literally did
Sounds
that.
like a car should be doing that.
Yeah.
It's just burning
It's
oil.
the engine on fire. No, how funny is the drift event post long ass drift event day? And you hop in the shower and like little bits of rubber like falling out of your hair. And
awful.
You go to blow your nose and it's black.
I would love to see someone from Summer Nats after that because they get
Oh
covered.
yeah. Have
like-
you ever been to like a burnout
No,
thing?
no.
I've been once a long time ago, like before I even had my license.
Mm.
Awful. Like, it was just rubber all over
Definitely
you
not
because it was
fun.
like hot, so you were sweaty, and then all the smoke's going over you. And you just got like black line. Like every time you moved your head over
like
your
rubbing
face or
through
something, it would smear it all over your
Do you reckon
face.
it sticks to like your skin's oils? Because I didn't picture it as something that sticks to you, but like maybe.
Like it's sucked in your
yeah,
pores
yeah,
and
it's
then,
like in your
I don't know,
gross.
but it's awful.
Yeah,
Like,
it's definitely not. I only skids I ever like are like victory skids because it's like a celebration
Yeah,
thing
I
to
agree.
me. But
Yeah.
I like people like many moons ago, the legal skid meets and stuff. I'm like, holding going like
Are you
It's not
going
even as
bang,
dun
bang,
dun
bang,
dun
bang,
dun dun
like
dun
that.
dun.
And, some of the dodgiest things I've seen. Like I don't know how people don't get hurt so much more. Especially like I saw the American like street takeover crap.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
Those
so dumb.
videos, I'm like, oh my god, that's what should have happened to some of the things I've seen in my time. Like some guy like drifting back and forth in one of these like common drift spots years ago, with his mate sitting on the door.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
hanging out. His mate's like hanging back, his hat flew off. So, he just passed and some guy passes him the hat. And I'm like, oh my god. Like,
That's pretty fire.
Reminds me of the VL Hubcap video from Summer Nuts.
oh,
Have you
yeah, that
seen
was
that?
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I do dig that video. That was kind of funny, but
Yeah,
no,
but
that's
at least
just
that's-
dangerous as hell.
The Summer Nats, I want to say, controlled environment. It was real
Far
fast
from
and loose
controlled.
with
To
that.
be expected environment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's about as controlled as I'd expect.
Exactly right. yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love the and I'm not here to shit on the Summer Nats people. I see it at all events. Someone will get declined because they've done something or their car's not up to spec, and the way of getting back at the company is doing a burnout out front of the
Like
facility,
retaliation.
and it's like, good, we'll never be able to drive here again. Like, you,
Yeah.
you idiot.
yeah, so dumb.
Like that, and then the people that are like, yeah, I shouldn't have let you. It's like, mate, do you understand this person's killing whatever you're into, whatever sport it is in?
Yeah,
They're-
legit.
Whether it's a track day and they didn't pass scrutineering, so they're like thrashing it out front, like they are gonna get the like. Our sport is dying. We need to all team together and not be culty groups of RX-7 owners.
Yeah.
We don't hoon because our cars are always broken, so it's all right. It's all good.
Brakes before it gets to the speed limit.
Yep.
I recently saw a photo of an RX-7 that went up on a rock, like 3 friends deep, and I'm like, oh, like that's an XC. He must have like thrashed it, lost it, went up a big, you know, those big rocks out the front of
He
buildings.
was just
sometimes?
flexing. It's all good.
Yeah, he was showing the the
Yeah,
body
yeah.
flex.
It's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, yeah. So
I reckon the body could flex more than the suspension, to be honest. They're not the most rigid things.
Really?
Yeah, they're a bit flimsy.
I
It's like,
noticed that,
because, you know, the interiors on them are so, like, cheaply made. When I go up onto my driveway, you can hear all the plastics go...
Really?
Yeah, they
I
fly
had
back into
that
shape.
with my
Shouldn't be
Supra.
happening.
I had that with my Supra because it was
Yeah.
a Target top.
Yeah.
Target top.
Target top.
Target top, aero top.
Aero top.
Aero deck. And so, yeah, you could definitely feel that like,
Yeah.
like when the car flexes, and if you had the roof off and you were doing like a nice mountain road, you could
Yep, yep,
feel
yep.
it. You could
Yep.
like, it was, yeah, well, I didn't like it.
That's
It didn't
not
feel
ideal.
right. Yeah. Like if you actually wanted to do nice windy roads, you'd have the roof on. And it's weird because they do structural things to try to compensate for it, and it's just so
I've
weird.
always wondered how safe, like, not saying because your car wasn't a convertible, it was a special
Yeah.
fucking thing, but how safe convertibles are.
I agree.
Like an MX-5 without a roll cage?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you rolled one, like, what would happen? Like, would the windscreen stay up? Or just flatten?
No, they flatten. Yeah, I've seen like videos of them
Ooh.
rolling, and they actually have an up to spec cage, and it's basically they're like on the hood of the
Yeah.
cage, like the windscreen just can't hold enough of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so. That's a bit sad.
Yeah,
I hate that.
yeah. No, it's terrifying. Like
It's awful.
Chuck
Like-
the canvas roof up.
like I've never
Yeah,
had
the cab's
a.
roof is going to protect the
Yeah,
light.
yeah. It's got
Make
little
sure you
braces.
put the windows up, all right?
Yeah.
No, save it.
Glass. Got reinforced glass. No, I've seen my share of the MX-5s on track days, especially a few years ago when they were a bit more common.
That's a
And
bit scary, hey.
I always seem to be able to call it. Sorry to the guy I'm about to roast, but this one lad was at a Motorcana and he was egoing. He was there like, oh yeah, I've done a few Motorcanas and this my
50-50 weight
this is like my
distribution.
first ever time, you know? And yeah, like I'm like, I said to my
The
mate,
aggressive MX-5 owners.
I
yeah,
say
there's
to
something
my
to be
mate,
aware
like,
of.
I reckon he's gonna bin it. And 2 seconds later, boom, up the gutter, folds the wheel under. I'm like, yep, called it.
Yep.
Like, surely you come into all motorsports. I don't know how you feel, but I'm always like cautious. You know, little steps. Don't go 100% straight away.
I say that. And then I get out on track and I go 110%. And then I come back off and I'm like,
BRZ going 80 k's an hour.
Yeah. 100%! Banging gears.
At least it's not auto.
So look at the hate. At least it's not auto.
At least it's
Auto
not
would be
Have you
faster.
driven an auto?
No, I feel like it'd be
A6PRZ?
really nice though.
They rev match.
Oh yeah,
If
nice.
you drive
Yeah.
them hard enough, you'll like hit the brakes coming into the corner, and you don't have to change
Yeah, nice.
if you've got it in
Do
full
they have
auto.
fucking paddles or?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But
cool.
even if you don't have that,
Yeah,
you just
okay.
put it in like sporty mode. You come into the corner, hit
Yeah,
the
I've
brakes
driven
hard.
a
They're
car.
like, brum, brum,
Yeah,
and like,
cool.
Yeah,
I've
it's
driven a
actually
car
so
like that.
satisfying.
Didn't mind it. I feel like I get over it, but
I think you would learn to outdrive it. So like there'd be points where you're like, I really wish you didn't do that yet or
yeah.
whatever. you
That's
know?
always the thing with
Yeah.
automatics. Like it's always a talking point is like automatics being like a proper driver's car because they do stuff when you don't want them to, unless you have like a BMW or some actual track car that won't shift. But even still, then they'll have like a rev limiter depending on when you can downshift and upshift and all that sort of stuff. Like there's
Yeah.
always going to be some computer that takes over, but I don't know.
It interests me. I definitely like if I had the option to learn like a bit of racing in an
Yeah.
auto car, like a proper good one.
Yeah.
It would be really cool.
I guess it has stopped me bloody money shifting.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, like
So it's like,
whatever.
I'd like to be able to go from
I'm
fourth
way
to
smarter
first.
than an automatic.
just
If I
like
want to
having-
do it, I'll do it. Like,
it's like having the option. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Maybe I
Yeah.
want to go fourth to first.
Yeah,
Just
You
to
know?
see
you're
how
right.
it feels.
You know
Yeah.
what always stresses me out watching people learn to drift in autos?
Mm.
Not because, firstly, like I think you're definitely limiting yourself, but the fact that clutching in is like an oh shit button. It's like, oh, I don't have
Oh,
this
yeah.
clutch in, straighten up.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They have like
They have a break.
commit. They
Yeah.
have commit, and that is it. And the thing is, I think I'm looking at it wrong because I haven't seen anyone mess it up how in my head it messes up. Because like if the car's revs are wrong, like too high, and I want to back out, and it's like still sliding along, I clutch in, and the wheels like will rotate and
Yeah.
straighten up really nicely. And if you stay in gear, that doesn't behave the same way. And so I picture an auto being like that, but I've never seen anyone mess up. So maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
The
Never thought about
logic's
it that way.
there.
Never been in an auto drift car, so I
I
can't.
feel
tell
like you definitely wouldn't have.
I'd
as
like
much
to try it.
control.
Mm.
Yeah. I always explain it to people because like I've heard a lot of, I don't really need a handbrake. It's all about the tools, My car isn't anything amazing, but my handbrake works, my clutch, I can dump it at max revs and everything holds up. It is manual. It's got the good gear ratio, like to suit the small little motor carners I'm doing. It's not so much that it's like a great car, but it ticks the boxes. And
Yeah.
if I need to handbrake, it's there. The brakes aren't great. I probably could do better brakes, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
All the tools I would like to have are there. And that's all I see it as. If you don't have the handbrake, you're missing a tool that you might want to use at some point.
That's
And-
very true.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know.
Because
A lot of people say that handbraking is cheating and drifting, but it's there
Isn't it?
for a
It's
reason.
just part of
It's
drifting.
part of drifting. Surely.
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Like,
It depends how you use it.
in a friendly, fun way, I think there's nothing wrong with that. If you're trying to do like a more of a like power slidey, higher speed drift but less angle, I think it's very frowned upon.
Sorry, it just reminded me. Jace did the longest bum drag I've ever seen in the AU the other day at Thursday night drifts.
Yeah.
So it was wet.
Yeah.
You know,
It was wet.
over the
wet.
reverse over the hill layout.
Yeah.
So like you guys know, but I'm just
Yeah.
telling for the audience. At the top of the hill on the handbrake.
Oh,
All the way down through the corner that gets off the handbrake, and then I'm not sure if it was that one, but I think he spun out eventually.
That's
I like
But it was
that.
so fun because John and I were in the chase car, so we were
Yeah.
filming him in the chase car. We were just like watching the world's longest,
Yeah, the
slowest
bum
bum drag ever.
I like
It
that.
was
That's
pretty
great.
funny.
That's pretty
So
good.
obviously that's not what you're supposed to do.
I'm by far nowhere near a good drifter. But as I started learning to like mungie through out of a corner and link it, because Calder's got some long straights and the only tracks
Yeah.
I've done is the full circuit.
Yeah.
So I'm like munging up to the corner and I didn't really know how to get make it a bit longer and put myself in the right position. So it became Mungie close, biggest bum drag. Into I'm like coming into the corner really slow at this point.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I love the people that mungie up to a corner and then straighten out, then
That
rip the
was me.
handbrake. Oh, that was you.
me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I couldn't figure it out, you know. Because you don't notice how much speed you're building up doing that either. And, like, I remember, like, going, like, it was my first time using third gear in my S14, which barely would hold third gear. And, like, the wind, like, in my face. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going so much faster than I'm confident with. Straight up, do the handbrake into the corner.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how I go now after so many hours sim racing and doing, you know, motor corners and stuff. It's been, like, 5 years since I've been behind the wheel of my S14, so it'd be very interesting to see.
Are you going to this year?
Like to. Every time I seem to have this, like, okay, just put the new tires on the S13, that's ready to go, and then I'll start working on the S14. Then the S13 starts leaking coolant, and I'm like, oh!
How far off is the S14?
It literally has every part apart from some hoses and fittings sitting under it.
I feel we just
a
go
good
around
I feel
there.
like
weekend
you
away.
On a
need to just
weekend.
get it done
Yeah.
and get it out there.
So the big problem is it's at my aunt's house, and the garage is kind of junk storage. So it is no longer.
I mean, your S14 has been there for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Excuse me, they've moved and they have quite. I had to move it, by the way. They have acquired. It's not junk. It's not like, oh yeah, we got a new TV, but we'll give this one to a family member. It's like, we have too much rubbish to fill the bins. Let's chuck it in the garage. And then I open the garage, like, yeah, go work on my car. And I'm like, oh. It's kind of like a tip in here. And then my cousin moved back in, so there is like a bunch of furniture in there, and it's just demotivating, you know? Like, my car was built in my own little garage, same with the S13, like, where that after work, Zach's got this exact vibe. Like, I don't have a space to work on my car at my own place anymore. So after work, if I want to work on my car, most likely I have to drive in peak hour traffic to my aunt's house and then work on my car for 2 hours at most.
Yeah.
You know, whereas you can go, I just spend 5 minutes tinkering with that wiring. Oh, I need to order this. I don't get that. That's a week apart, you know? And so it's just demotivating. I will get back out this year, surely. Surely. I want to get Maggie to do a drift school.
I dig that.
Yeah, I thought it'd be fun. She'd do it in the S13. See how she goes. Maybe I could instruct her, crash my own car.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Surely they'd let you drive a few laps in your own car.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, surely.
I do have to get my double ASA again because that well expired now. Yeah.
Yeah. And Adam wants to get behind a drift car this year as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's his goal anyway.
Yeah, I've only been asking for it for a very long time. But it is.
I feel like drift school would be perfect for it though.
I liked when
it's the car. I need the car.
Yeah.
Not the drift school. You can get in the drift.
You don't want to
school.
drift the RB20 AU Ute?
Well, that's never been offered to me, so
Fair enough.
can't.
Let's hope Jason listens to this right now and
No, they
offers you the
lent
Ute.
it to someone, which was a relative.
Yeah.
Just for people listening, because I know people ask drive all the time, but you can't. And they just lowered the limiter and lowered everything, lowered the boost, lowered the limiter.
I have driven that car twice and I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
like
not
it with
gonna
the
lie.
old engine, don't like it with the new engine.
Yeah.
Driven it with the RB20?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
I never drive it.
You
But I'm
just
only
parked
ever
it, didn't
driving
you?
around the track.
You just parked it,
Yeah.
didn't you? Yeah.
I'm not like.
I sat in it and hated it.
Yeah,
It is the worst.
I reckon I
Corey
dig
was
the,
telling me about
the
it.
sedan. I reckon
Yeah.
I dig the sedan.
Yeah.
I quite like the sedan.
I reckon the
It's cool, yeah.
AE100 is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I was chatting to Corey as he drove that in peak hour traffic in the rain to the drift school event. And he got out the car and he just shook his head and just did the Corey, just like the blank face, just like, that's not happening.
I drove that home at like 3 a.m. with no clutch when it was a turbo Intec.
Oh, yeah. Beside me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I wanted Brendan to drive back with me because I
Yeah.
didn't know if I was going to make it.
So
So I had to float gears the whole way home.
Adam and I, we're coming up to lights, and Adam's like rolling from so far
I'm like, you
away.
better change the green.
I'm doing the like. I don't really like. Adam's a great bloke, but if he stalls there, I'm driving home. I'm really tired.
So what happens if you did get to a red light? You just keep crawling forward or...
Probably.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we ended up. I think you said
I
you
didn't
stopped
stop.
once.
Yeah, I stopped. Yeah, I stopped once, but it was downhill,
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
so I was okay with stopping. But
Yeah.
that other one was uphill, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not stopping here.
Like the light's like red, and he's like going just so slow. Like, come on. And yeah, it was pretty funny.
I love that. That's great.
was
The fact it now has a cage and the clutch. I don't know if you felt the clutch in that RB20.
27 puck clutch. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Have
ridiculously
you seen
heavy.
the pedal? That car is really cool. It's a really cool car, and the boys have done really great with
Yeah.
it. But damn, that clutch pedal's dodgy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I feel like they were like, it's not in the right spot. Let's just weld some other pedal on.
yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
It is very, very heavy. It is a very heavy clutch. But I mean, it's a cool car. Cora was driving it. It was cold. The demister wasn't working. It was peak hour traffic. It was wet. The windscreen wipers were barely working. The clutch in it, as well as just the whine from the gearbox and everything about that car. The weldy plus the tires that were on it. It was just a death trap.
That's
it
why,
was
I kind of
scary.
had this question because, I feel like Adam's picked quite an impractical car. I personally think.
No.
You know, you've picked a cop baity
No, because you're
rig.
envisioning it differently to
I
me.
am, yeah, because I have no clue what it is.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
I feel like
You
an
don't
S15 to get
understand.
picked up more than a
Yeah.
modified.
But yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Modified.
It's not going to
whatever the
be
hell he owns.
freaking straight piped and just smacking Limmy everywhere.
Yeah.
yeah, but you want a powerful. That's why I asked you what power.
Not
I need a
crazy
number.
power. It just needs to be slightly modified so it's not
Give
stock.
me a number.
I don't know.
How many kilowasps?
I don't even know how
the
many they
wheel-
make stock.
The 150.
Kilowatt.
Yeah, I reckon.
I feel like 400 kilowatt would be good.
Fucking hell.
What?
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
there we go.
I don't need that
In a-
much.
See,
in a-
I was picturing you just like 600.
600 horsepower.
600 kilowasps.
600 kilowatts.
Yeah, that's what I thought
All-wheel
Adam was going to
drive.
say. Yeah, that's what I thought he
Jesus.
was going to
Let
say.
me tell you, a lot of diesel four-wheel drive owners, there's a thing called the 200 horsepower club.
I love that. I love that. That's great. That was great.
The star that's
really?
in the 80 horsepower club. Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a double
This is
digits
diesel
club or
stuff.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
triple. We hit triple.
digits. It's hard to get horsepower out of a diesel. You get
Yeah.
torque easily, but
Yeah.
horsepower is different.
That's what I thought you would have gone a Barra, but you can't fit them.
If someone would
I
fit a
like-
barra, then I'd put a barra in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what extent would you go to that? Would you be willing to cut half the fucking front car
As long as
apart?
it's fully engineered.
You don't care?
Sure.
Okay. You were speaking about those mix match shells on different chassis
Yeah.
and all that.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Definitely.
that's way more than 100 grand.
Wow. No expense. No expense. No 100K. No limits.
No limits.
No
I don't even have a
limits.
car for that.
Yeah, there's no car that falls into that. But
Yeah.
no limits would probably be what I said in the last one, which for those that didn't hear, 40 series Land Cruiser, 80 series chassis, barra turbo. I would go an automatic
Yeah.
still. What's the auto? What is it? VF? Is it
ZF.
ZF.
Yeah.
ZF.
You can get like an 8-speed ZF.
Yeah.
They're pretty hectic now. Yeah.
That'd
I
be like the
I wouldn't
unlimited
even know.
cash car.
You wouldn't even know.
So I watched
Yeah,
FD
okay.
for my first ever time.
Can I
It's
go to
the
the
first time
toilet
watching
real quick
Formula
before we
One.
go? I really.
No, we're back.
Are we
So-
actually back?
Yeah, we're back.
I've had way too many drinks tonight, like waters tonight. I've had
Yeah, hard waters.
two beers, a
that's
Coke,
vodka.
and that whatever the hell that is.
Formula Drift.
Formula Drift.
Formula Drift.
That's what we were talking about before.
USA.
I have never really watched drifting.
Which is weird.
Competitive. Yeah.
'Cause you're a drifter.
Yeah. The only drifting I've ever really watched is actually the Victor series and our series before I started working at REIT. Now I just guess how it's going because, don't really get to see the track from where I'm at. Anyway, so I watched Formula Drift. I don't know. It was just a vibe, and I was watching Long Beach, and I watched all the qualifying and the top 32, and I'll go back home and watch the top 16. But it was really not what I expected. They changed how it's scored this year apparently, and they're doing the sensor thing that we discussed.
Oh, cool.
Oh, are they?
But it seems inaccurate. Half the
Right.
time they mention it, half the other time they didn't, and I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, okay.
They are very I don't know if they're doing it for entertainment purposes, but they're like, oh, it could be anyone, and I'm like, no, that guy won. There's no way. That guy on his lead run was filling the zones better, and then on his chase run was closer to the other guy. Like, it seemed clear cut for me, and there was a lot of like little mistakes, and I was like, not super into it. But I got G'd up, and I'm like, I'm gonna download the map on Assetto Corsa. No. That was a bad, like coming into the corner, bang, into the wall. I'm like,
Like, I think like 10 drivers did there that weekend anyway. It's a dangerous track.
Every time we saw someone hit the wall, we're like, the Brenny line. Like, because my mates were over. And
Matt invite.
Hey, Matt, it was very spirit of the moment. Thank you. We were actually meant to go go-karting that you guys weren't invited to either.
Well,
mate,
I was meant to
yesterday-
go go-karting yesterday.
He was about to go go-karting today. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go with Mitch, and that's about it. I'm
Imagine
like, wow.
I go go-karting and rock up and Adam's there. You dog! You dog!
I might go tomorrow.
And then I see both
No, I'm
your
not
stories, and then I'm just like, all right, I'm just
Matt
at home. Matt invite,
No,
boys.
so as I'm heading to Japan very soon, probably in Japan when this is up, I've got family and friends like wanting to catch up, which is really weird because I'm not going for that long, and some of them haven't seen me in that long anyway. But I think it's more so that it's also my birthday, and that time I'm gone, and I'm turning the big 3-0. Be kicked off the potty. But yeah, just thought I'd mention.
we're trying to keep it young and fresh down here.
Yeah, young and fresh.
Yeah, if you guys find a
ain't
suitable
me.
replacement for Brenny, let us know. Send us a DM.
Anyone that can turn their neck quickly without jarring. The other day I turned back in the car to look at my mate and hurt my neck.
Someone that understands the joke.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
would
I
be
don't get that.
preferable, but
something-
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll leave. Stop!
No, my feet did
You
not
get
move.
your feet out of my position.
My feet did not move.
My feet did move.
FD.
I want to
Great.
hear about, like
Yeah.
you said you weren't a fan of it. What don't you like?
we were slightly speaking about this before the podcast, but I cannot stand watching competitive drifting. I hate it with a
And
passion.
why is that?
It's too much downtime.
Yeah.
You watch racing, like we watch F1. It was great. There's always something to watch, but there's a 10-second, 20-second run. And then they do a 3-minute loop around to the back of the start.
Yeah.
Or if one of the drifters is like, oh, my wheel's not tightened properly, they have to like, all of a sudden it's like, downtime, and the judges and the commentators are like, oh, what's happening down here? And the guy's like with his hand out the window. It's just, there's so much downtime. And I just watch it and just go, yeah, okay, that's great. The actual runs are great. Like, it's really, really cool to watch. But then there's too much. I know it sounds really dumb, but there's too much of the top 32 and the top 16, and there's not enough of the top 8. I know it sounds really stupid.
Yeah, that does
It sounds stupid because there's no way you can get around it, which is why I like the Battle Royale series when we have the last battle
Double
is a
options.
3, like best of 3, which I think is really cool. But when you watch FD, it's like really, 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 really long of like the top 32 and the top 16. And then you get to the top 8 and there's like,
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
like smash out 3 battles and all of a sudden you have a winner.
I mean, that's just the tree system.
Yeah.
I really do like when I first learnt about our top. So in our top 2 people battle 3 times. Or is
So
it top
basically,
3?
Keeper Red has the most confusing competition system, but when you
But it's
understand
cool.
it,
Yeah, it's cool.
the best competition system there is.
Yeah.
So, how are we going to explain this? You have to lose twice in battles to be eliminated. So you can lose once, but then you're still in. So a loser versus a loser, basically. And then the winner of that one then stays in. The other one gets eliminated.
But they still have 1 loss and therefore only have 1 more loss for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But if you win, I think it's 4 in a row, then you like get a bye and you go straight to the top 2. So the first and second.
Which I think Age did last one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always someone that will win 4 battles.
Yeah.
Like it has to fall that way. I don't know how it works, but that
Yeah,
always
that's
happens. And then that last battle, the top 2, it's the best of 3 battles.
Yeah.
So
Which is
6 runs.
I personally found it, like when I first saw it as a spectator before I worked at Reed, I'm like, I don't really get this. That person won. And like, I think at the time the person was clearly winning as well.
Yeah.
But it is really good for if it is a closer thing because it gives you the reruns to like, oh, okay, that person slipped up there, but next battle the other person slipped up, and it is really cool. I do like it. It's definitely grown on me.
It's definitely good when you understand it, but then the problem is it's so hard to explain that it's hard to get people to understand it.
It legitimately looks like the math meme, like.
Yeah, so Josh runs all the events at work. He's like got the whiteboard out, and he's got like the 32 drivers or however many there are, and he's like doing ticks and crosses for who wins and who loses to like make sure the
Is
system
that how
will
he's
work.
doing that right now?
No, that's how he figured out.
Oh,
that the
okay,
system
right.
will
He had
work.
to like calculate out how it would work.
Yeah.
So
We're giving him too much credit. He also has a printed out clock.
he does have a printed clock. Printed clock on his wall.
Have you seen?
Just does
next
the
time you
same
go
time.
into work, look at his wall. There's a clock.
Why?
And it's because he can't quickly do 24-hour times. And so sometimes you'll see a 24-hour time and a normal time, and I totally don't mind it. Like,
So does he have it numbered like 13, 14?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
right.
the funny thing is, it's like a clip art, so it's got
So it has the time.
hands.
It has the time on it.
I like
It's
that.
always
That's good.
what is it? 4:30 in Josh's office.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have like 3 clocks in our bit of the office.
And none
that
of
are
them
all
work.
wrong.
Every single one of them is slow.
Yeah, we have like an automated system now, which
Yeah.
is like when we get put into the website or whatever, it just spits out the next round.
We
and
do,
automatically
like,
does it.
After
It's
watching
pretty smart how
after
it
watching
works.
one round of FD, so I'm not holding it super low. I probably will watch a few more because as much as I didn't super enjoy the presentation, I do enjoy the high level competition.
Yeah.
But their new system, another thing I saw, someone tapped the wall and it like slowed them down a hair, but it was a tap. It wasn't a hit. And the other person was not online, not doing anything proper, and they paused it up. I still don't know what the call was, because they're like on their windscreen now. They have little like bars that show if they're on the gas or if they're decelling and stuff. And it flicked up for like 0.millisecond of a second that it was like decel, and I'm like, yeah, you just hit a wall, like tap the wall. And they were calling that up, but the rest of his he went wall to wall and then did a really good line. And in my head, I'm like, I understand that's not a decel zone, but I don't think like this new system. I feel
like a critical error or something.
Yeah. And I don't know the judgment on it, but it just really bummed me out because I was like, that guy clearly was gassing the other guy.
Yeah.
Like he was filling the zones.
I wonder if they do it as like a G meter or something instead of like a.
No, it is.
It is a G meter.
It's a G meter. Right. It's got throttle. It's got decel. It's got braking, and then you got your brake strip. It's a cool concept. I just think it's not like the Red Bull one we had discussed previously.
If he did clip that wall, it would technically be an error. If he if the G was to zero out or go the opposite direction, it would be an error. So I can understand that. But
to me, it counted as this sensor went, oh fuck, like you just tapped a wall, and I think that would throw a sensor off. And so,
I mean, depending on where the sensor was, it could have actually been a bigger hit than you thought, maybe, or something. I don't know.
He did not look like the speed change.
Yeah, okay.
Visually,
right,
like just eyeball judging, it didn't look like the speed changed a lot. And also, the guy didn't hit him.
Right.
So the guy chose to basically pause.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I understand it's a really risky, dangerous track. They've all, refreshed their cars for the new season. I just didn't like I feel like I'm being a hypocrite because I'm like, oh, I didn't like that system, I would like it to be judged still, but scored with the zone. So let's say between there and there, they run that, the system detects, oh, he was on the wall for 90% of the run. Then they use the judges to decide closeness and stuff because it just seems like you can't fully have it fully
It's interesting they have that system already because I thought Red Bull had only really sort of just kind of developed
it
or...
didn't look good. Throughout
okay.
the stream, they were turning it off and on, and
Red Bull it's like proximity sensors.
Yeah.
It's different.
Oh, okay. So
it definitely seemed different. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to see something in the sport. I just don't know how they would do it. Like you said, there was so much downtime, and they just pumping you with ads. And honestly, I know the guy commentating has been doing it for years, and he's so super well known, but he just didn't have nothing downtime chat.
Need to have someone that makes really good small talk about stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just you just end up listening to the commentator the whole time. It's just.
I mean, It's hard. It sort of comes down to the production of it all. Like if the production
Yeah.
isn't providing the commentators something,
But they need like what we do, like a pit cam or something, just something
yeah,
else
like
to
the
cut
fact
to.
that they didn't. I mean, so they didn't have a pit cam.
All it appears to be is like pop-up things. They were popping up
Yeah.
a quiz thing, and then they were showing reruns and like just rediscussing the same thing. And I'm like, I know, I just watched it. Like I don't need to watch it 4 more times.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the
Like-
fact they don't have a pit cam is pretty poor.
Yeah, and like that being said, I'm not all the way through, so we'll see. I'll report back if I think the top 16's fire, and I'll be like, just watch top 16.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've watched Formula Drift once. When I say Formula Drift, I'm talking like the American one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watched it once. I can't remember what track it was. And it was like, it's at such a weird time in Australia. It started at like 8
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the morning and on a Sunday.
It's
But
better than
basically,
F1.
like, I think the only reason I sort of liked it is because I had one of my mates over and we were just like, the plan was like, we knew about it. We're like, oh, we're just going to get on the beers and just have a good
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
about it. And we're just like
Yeah.
arguing about everything, like who won that, who won that. And that's the only reason I liked it.
Mm.
It wasn't because of the show itself.
Interesting.
It was because
It-
I made it a show at home.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
definitely get that. That's always like I think it's and I've seen this a lot. Like I see Mike Lake always does it. In the background, you're not fully focused on it. You're tinkering on your car or playing some Rooney. Maybe you fire
Yeah.
up the old what was that BMX game?
Touchscreen on
Yeah,
BMX.
Touchscreen,
Ooh,
You fire
such a good game.
or you're playing Clash of Clans. Zachary's a phone gamer apparently, mobile
No free
gamer.
shout outs, right?
Oh,
They
fair
pay us for
enough,
that.
sorry.
Ooh,
Yeah,
like it,
sorry.
microphone.
Clash of Clans, if you'd like to sponsor us, give me some gems.
Yeah, that's all.
I don't care about the money. I want gems, boy.
No, so yeah, the reason I was like, oh yeah, I'll give this a crack. It was things lined up. We're all bumming around at my house waiting for we were gonna go karting, but it was raining and I didn't want to go in the rain. So we went out to lunch and stuff and dinner. Anyway, so we're like bumming around, hanging out, and it was a good vibe. And like Adam said, like just chill. But I was mostly watching because James Dean's back, and that guy's crazy, and he threw down really well in a car that I watched a video of him driving like 3
once,
times.
maybe?
Yeah, he did. Apparently, they went to this place in America that's like called Horseshoe or something.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And he watched for most of the day. He just watched how other people drove. They like Chelsea and LZ drove those cars, and then towards the end of the day, hopped in, did like 5 laps. And then the next time he drove the car, I'm pretty sure was on the media demo day.
Practice, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or, no, yeah,
the
media demo where
day.
they were like unveiling the RTR Mustangs or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
And then bang, straight into like 3rd qualifier in that car. A completely different car. He's never driven. He's always driven turboed like 6s in tiny little JDMs or like BMWs. And it was really cool to see that. Obviously, I watch Adam's content and
Thanks, man.
wanted to see how he goes. Yeah, you did pretty shit.
He did pretty well.
Honestly, he got paired up with Chelsea Denofa, and I was like, oh, heck yeah, you know, because like it seems like when they know
So
each
there's
other,
no
they
point
go.
in watching that run.
Yeah,
Not gonna
okay.
lie.
So Chelsea won.
Oh, crazy. How did that happen?
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry guys for spoiling the week-old thing that you would have seen spoiled the day of. But he clips the tire barrier. Like a lot of people are clipping the wall, a lot of people are hitting the wall. But he clips the tire barrier so hard it like blows the back of the car off, and it freaked me out because if he had a slightly more solid car, you know how like that car's designed to bang into a wall and explode, to not whip into the wall. If he had anything more structural, I think it would have whipped him into the wall at like full speed. And that was really freaky to see. And it also really grabs my interest. Like, I don't know how much you guys follow Adam, but he's kind of the guy I watch the most because he's always doing something different, you know, and he also ends up doing stuff with everyone else. And I like it. Anyway, it's really interesting to see how well he goes in like any other competition but FD. Like, I want to know if it's the pressure or the Mustangs. Like, I would love to know, but obviously it's a deal with.
Well, I mean, you look at it
Ford
in a
and
way
RTR.
of just the way that how expensive FD of a program is to run those cars, because he's gone through it before, even running his own FD program. Like, those cars are super expensive to run. The tires are expensive and they're hard to get as well. You just don't physically get enough seat time in those cars and enough seat time at the tracks, because they get like, what, 2 to 3? I guess we see it with
It's
Jason.
like 3 laps. Yeah.
We see like 3 practice laps and then they go straight into competition. Like, imagine if you don't know that track.
You know how much that blows my mind? Like,
Yeah.
I have so much, like, and like, I'm not trying to trash talk Adam here. I see him succeeding in all these other competitions, and like, he obviously has the access to more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's unfair in saying, like, he can literally go test his cars in his backyard.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But I understand it's a higher level competition, different cars, people from around the world in the top tier, you know. It's just interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at Clutch Kickers as an event, and I see content from Taylor Ray and Ginge and all those guys doing Clutch Kickers, and it seems like you get so much more practice before the actual competition. It's almost like they have a full day where the pit is completely open. You don't get that with FD. You get set practice times, you get set practice runs. Whereas Clutch Kickers is kind of like a Matsuri, where, you know, you have one day of, you know, all out practice, and then you can go into the competition the next day or something like that.
I don't think it's as much as
not
that.
as much, but you just get more than
It is
FD.
definitely more, because like I've seen like the FD thing, like Adam, like I watched his, like, when he had the F15 series, like I watched, like, he was doing a lot of like behind the scenes. I don't feel like he's doing it as much this one. I'm assuming that's something with the RTR deal or whatever.
Yeah.
But also those cars look so cool, the new ones.
Yeah,
they
they do.
look so
They look
huge car though.
Yeah,
I haven't
they look
seen.
massive.
It's very similar, just looks sharper,
I feel like
you know?
it'd be like the argument that a lot of people have, the modern cars, you just can't see out of them. Like, the visibility out of them is so small compared to the older, like, shoebox cars.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his most successful car, though, the Blue E36. Amazing visibility, not a very big car, making 600 horsepower with a 2J. It sounds like a very simple concept in a car that just works all the time.
So to play devil's advocate, because like I've explained, I am a big fan of Adam. Is he possibly winning these other competitions because he's got a higher level car? I understand that's not everything, but in the FD realm, he's the new guy. He's the guy that's probably still tweaking things, and he's gotten very lucky to come on with RTR, and he's at the start of that journey. Whereas I think in Clutch Kickers, he's towards the end of that, where he's got the more superior car, he's got the more seat time, he's got the, and I wonder how much that.
I dare say Clutch Kickers is not a grassroots event anymore,
because
there is
definitely not
pro level cars going there now. But he did have that E36 back when, you know, I think Taylor Ray was still competing in his LS1 Miata and stuff like that.
And he has stepped it up over time.
He has, yeah. And I think it's. Yeah, the E36 was always like a step above everything else. Like, he was running a Winter's quick change when there was other cars that was like kind of like your
the
car, like
Weldy life, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. I feel like a lot more of those cars now are like pro level cars to the point where they step up. But
I wonder if he's partially the reason it has stepped up.
I would think so.
Because it's a huge event. Isn't it $100,000 or something?
It's a big event now.
$100,000 championship at like
over like 5 events and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's pretty great. Like, yeah.
I mean, like, you look at it, like, how much are we giving away to winners at the moment?
I can't remember.
Like $1.5 grand for a winner?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
but it's higher than a normal one in Australia.
I've seen like Vic Drift used to do like $600 ones.
Yeah,
and that, like,
I mean, like, over the 6 events, you could call us like a 40K, you know. Thing.
No.
It's just not viable. Like, it's not a big enough thing in Australia yet. I don't think. I don't even know what High Tech does. I'd love to know.
High Tech was less than our last Battle Royale.
Yeah. That's crazy, really? Yeah.
High Tech was a national.
That's why I was super shocked to see a big cash prize, and it makes me wonder, like, is that what brings the people? Like, you just like 100K, and then you just feel like,
because isn't a winner at Clutch Kickers like a $5 grand, 5,000?
I
or is it 10,000?
think it's 10. I think it's 10
per round.
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, if you
this is just by me remembering the little like pamphlet things that pop up all the time. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, that was it. That was
I was waiting for the rest of the sentence.
I wanted to dip myself out of, like, I'm not locking in any of these numbers for anything.
I was going to say, if you, like, start up your own drifting thing here, or if Keeper did this, whatever, I don't care, and you went, winner of the championship gets $100,000.
Yeah.
Imagine the people that are going to come driver-wise in Australia. You'll get the best of the best coming because they'll be like, $100,000 if I finish first, like in the championship, or $5 or $10,000 around. Fucking hell, that's so much more money than normal.
Certainly.
Yeah. Like,
So
that's
you
actually
would
a profitable thing.
You would
if
get
win.
the biggest names possible to go to that event. Like, possible. Not, you wouldn't be getting James Dean and all that stuff. But, like, it would be the best drifting in Australia if you did that.
Yeah.
Hands down. Would you make a return on it?
I don't know. It'd be interesting. Take a few years, I reckon. I don't know. Depends if
Even
you could.
if you went $10,000,
Yeah.
people would be like,
Yeah.
a
It'd
lot
be
of money.
cool, like, win the championship and have a check that had more one extra digit at the end, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It'd be cool. But yeah,
$999.99.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a great deal. I like that.
Dog act.
But yeah, no, I think that Clutch Kickers as an event has definitely skyrocketed into something that it didn't intend to be.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be a bridge between people that didn't have the sort of that didn't have the pro cars that drove at like a pro level, and I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
And I'll try not to drag on this too much more because it's been mad drift talk and dumb questions talk, which I have a follow up for Adam. Remind me, it's about 4-wheel driving.
Oh.
I'm already forgetting it. So, like, I feel like it's kind of like gaming. Like, things have started. You get this grassroots thing where people just learn. Oh yeah, if you pull the handbrake at this point, and now it's just keeps stepping up, and like grassroots kind of disintegrates because people no longer come in at grassroots. They come in at I already have knowledge.
Yeah.
I've got sim racing. I've got, and I think it like does kill the authenticity.
Authenticity.
I'm really bad today.
You
I've like said like 5 words off camera. I'm like, it's been a long week. I'm eating so much food. My brain's just like feed
It's
me.
Easter weekend, by the way. We've
Yeah.
had so much food. It's
Nice to be eating a lot of
ridiculous.
food, eh?
Yeah.
Adam's had a pie.
You guys want some of my pie? Yeah, no, I think it's just stepped up, and you don't have that like early game stage. Whereas like I hold on to a lot of early games that I played, which I did want to ask you guys as well. Like I have the fondest memories of like Need for Speed, Underground 1 and 2 and Carbon and playing with my mates. But I know for a fact if I go back to those games, I'm like, this is crap. Like I was legitimately watching, popped up in my Facey feed, like it was like the history of rally games.
Mm-hmm.
And it started off and I'm like, oh my God. And it's really funny because I'd get to like the late 1990s before you guys were born. And
What do you mean? I'm 98.
oh,
I'm
yeah,
98.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I knew all the games.
And some
when I
of
was 2
these
years old.
games legitimately looked decent. And then others look terrible still. And I'm like, I can't believe they're in the same year,
Yeah.
And then like you start getting to the big steps and you're like, oh my God, that looks like a real car now. Like,
Yeah.
When Dirt 3 came out.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
What a game.
I haven't played it yet. I'm pretty sure I have it in my Steam ready to play because Jai's like, get Dirt 3. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched a rally?
Yes.
I have
Insane.
not.
Insane.
I've only ever watched highlights, kind of like the drifting thing. Like I'd
Yeah.
always just at the end of drifting watch the highlight.
Mm.
Can you explain to me the corner thing? Because I do not get it.
What? Like turning?
Well, the numbers.
Yeah, why do they? Yeah, no, the numbers.
Yeah, they equate to how sharp the corner is.
So they're giving a distance,
Yeah.
a sharpness, and a direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd fuck up so
So
bad.
if they say 103 right,
What is that?
That's like at 100 meters time. There's a category 3. Would you say
I guess
category?
Category grade 3?
Yeah,
Something
some different people have some different ways of saying it, but I've always learned like the,
Well, I've heard like
the
sharp
distance,
3 and stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean
Sharp-
that could also
sharp
work.
right or whatever.
As long as you knew with your driver what
were.
they're saying. But yeah, I've always had like the distance, then the category of corner, and the higher the category, the sharper it is, and then a left or right.
I think would a sharp 3 just mean like a short 3?
No, I
don't
think it's
know.
the aggression.
Well,
of
no,
it.
because
But,
they do
no, but then that
say
would be a
they
different
sometimes
number.
they do say after it whether if it's like a long sweeping corner, they say long
Yeah.
or
yeah, I
short
thought it
or
was.
something.
Yeah, I thought it was like long right. but
And then they
maybe
also
I'm
have a
wrong.
word for if it sharpens up. I can't remember the exact name for it.
Oh yeah, like a double apex kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's they have a different name for it. It's kind of cool.
I would love to see them like, and the fucking guy. What's it called? What's the train?
Navigator.
The navigator chucks a cheeky recalculating.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
My favorite is when they say, I don't know, if they go like 103 right over crest, it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, I know a jump's coming up because
Yeah.
they go, it's so freaking cool.
Do you
I
stay
love
in
it.
it, or are you meant to back off a bit? I know you're not meant to stop.
So rally cars have a G meter when it senses, like a wheel height meter where it senses that if the car has lift, it goes into an anti-lag mode, and that's what that noise is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so it
always
keeps
wondered.
the turbo spooled up, and then once the car reaches back to a certain level, once the car gets back to Earth, eventually, that's when you hear the anti-lag turn off, and because you have anti-lag, the car is already spooled and good to go. So yeah, it's rally tuning is intense.
Rally is
I've
hectic.
looked
Rally
into it a
in
little bit,
general.
and it is over my head. It's crazy.
I love the clip. I love highlight clip. It's so much better than watching the full watch FD for this long or this long, you know?
Yeah.
And like, how quick is... I'm not getting into F1 today.
No,
But
we'll do it
how
next week, I
quick
reckon.
do they bang out highlight moments?
Oh, it's like
Like,
instant.
legitimately-
I'm pretty sure they're like making it as the race is going.
Yeah. That's
and then as
mental,
soon as it's
yeah.
done, it's like
So crazy. But yeah, the rally where you can tell the navigator's like, oh fuck.
But they look up and their eyes widen. It's like,
or the driver just like when the driver's like, oh, I can't believe I pulled that off.
Yeah.
It's not a breed of human that I am. I am such a reserve driver. Like, I'll like G up on a grip day and barrel into a corner way too hot and then have to do like 2 more laps. Like, whoo!
yeah. Imagine being on that high every corner.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
trees and people, and the people like,
the spectators.
I hate them.
So looking back at, I don't know if you watched anything like Group B. Like that is my favorite.
Yeah.
So Group B was back when like I think it was like late 80s, early 90s, was it? They were sort of like the boxy cars and stuff like that. That's kind of where you had
Before
like
your
the
time.
Audi Quattro, like way before my time.
Before my time too. Don't make me feel old.
I don't know. You
You're
were
in your 70s, aren't you?
You're growing up.
Yeah, you were definitely
dog,
growing up.
Your first job, I think.
No, this was like the big boxy cars and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Back when like the Audi Quattro was a big thing, but Group B was like basically they had Group A, which was like a class where everything was sort of confined. Group B was like do whatever the fuck you want, and it's 600 horsepower and go for it.
Yeah.
And they just made these mental cars, and they had to take it off. They completely
It's
They
canned
too
it
stopped
dangerous,
it because it was
wasn't
too dangerous.
because it was
Yeah.
way too dangerous.
So I know a little bit about it. Like I knew it's where we got all those unique cars.
Correct, yeah.
Because they'd be like, oh, it's got to be a real car, huh? Make 600 of this rally car.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then-
yeah. It's homologation cars were a big thing. That's
Yeah.
the reason the Evo, the WRX was around. The reason the Audi Quattros are around. Some Minis, I think, are around because of it too.
Have you seen a mini? There's a few minis at the Motorcarners, and they are so
They are
surprising.
wickedly quick.
Yeah.
Through corners, next level.
Like
Get
3-wheeling
crazy.
and stuff. It's
Practically
so
a
cool.
go-kart.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Get to a straight, they got nothing.
You're in a moke, tips over. You're doing a soft top.
It's got canvas roof. It's fine.
Canvas.
Yeah.
What's the carbon cavalier? What the
Cavalier.
Is that what it's called? What is it?
Kevlar.
Kevlar?
The carbon
No, isn't
cavalier.
there like a... That is wrong, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Adam, in automotive, in your automotive realm, is there a douchery? Is there like
douchery?
things that people do? It's like, oh, that's kind of shit.
I thought
Like
douchery was a word for something
modifications or
different.
acts?
acting, like how like in show car scene, it's very common to you don't touch it, you don't breathe near it. In drifting, I think it's a lot more lenient, but you don't take someone's jack or something. Like is there things like that in the forward driving world where like you're meant to leave a space or something? Made me think. Is there a winching rule? Are you like, if I damage your car winching, am I meant to reimburse you even though I was trying to help you?
Yeah, just hook her up to the weakest point in the front of the car.
Yeah. Just,
Send
your
it.
headlight's good, yeah?
The Rio support
Yeah.
rips the whole front of the car off. Yeah, perfect.
Nah, normally when it comes to recovery, the person recovering you knows what they've got themselves into and they've taken the choice to be there and to do it.
Because
So
it's
normally,
very straining on recovery cars, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
So normally, like, your car broke because it was already on its way out.
Yeah.
If you're recovering someone and it breaks. But if the person you're recovering does something really dumb and then affects your car, then that's on them.
Yeah.
Sort of like a mutual agreement. I guess no one really ever talks about that. But like, I know if I went in to recover someone and I broke my winch, I wouldn't be charging them money to buy me a new winch. Because if my winch breaks, it's probably going to break anyway.
It always like made me like, I never got to the point where I was tandeming. The most I have ever done, and it still holds so warmly in my heart, is me and my mate were drifting on the same corner. We were not close enough to be anywhere in the world of tandeming, but we were both like, it was rare to have both our cars working on the same event. You know, I think we did two events together.
Yeah.
One of them he blew his engine, but yeah. And it always worried me with drifting. Like, what are the like? If I'm looking good and someone dives in on me and I'm like, no, stop it.
Yeah.
Like that happened to my mate I was just speaking about. Like he did Drift X, which is a Vic Drift event, and it's like a double day event, and very early stages of learning. And some guy I look like, I'm like, yeah, we're like we've done really good. Like he linked this corner because he was a sucker for I remember we're at Winton and he was munging the straight, which probably his second ever event to be munging along the wall was freaking me out. And I had a few more events on him. And I'm like, oh my God, he has no awareness of how much faster we're going now. So I'm like doing this, like, pull the handbrake, like freaking out because he's flying. And we flew off the track at the end of Winton so far we nearly hit the back wall.
Oh my God.
That's
a long way.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. I'm like doing like fake. Like I had enough time to think, do handbrake motion.
Yeah.
You know? So he was like, he came through like the first corner at Calder and then come through the S bend, and like I turned back and there's this guy's face right there, and we're in like Vic Drifter groups, A, B, C, and D. So we're in like D or C or whatever they were running at the time, and this guy also kind of put himself in a low group, obviously. And this guy comes up and his face looked like, oh my God, I'm way closer to this car than I want to be. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have an accident. And it was just good vibes.
It was okay? Or?
Well, yeah, like we got away, and like I think Sace let him drive by because we were like, what is that guy doing? Like we're learning right now. But like Sace banged into someone, but that person kept driving in front of him. He would go down the straight, spin out in front of you. You'd drive past him, start drifting again. He'd gas it past you on a straight, you know, like in beginner drifting. Yeah. You're just kind of like, okay, I'll give
But it's just someone that doesn't do track etiquette.
Yeah, there was no track etiquette. So he spins out after the wall, and Sace comes around and sees him there and tries to stop, and like bumped into the front of him. And see, they had no like agreement, so I don't really know what the deal was there. But I'm like on the other side of the fence, like, that was your fault. Yeah, stop going in front of me, because I was already like been in the car like 3 times with him watching that guy do that. But I haven't had any I haven't had any incidents with other people on the track. I have been close, like I think I mentioned that person that like into the wall right in front of me. But I haven't had anything too bad. How about you, Zachary?
I think with grip racing, it's that they always tell you it's on, like, grip racing, there's such a fine line between when you have grip and when you don't have grip.
Yeah, because that's what you're walking. That's the line you're walking.
That's the line you're on every single time you do something. So it's always up to the car behind to pick a moment and pass you when it is safe to do so.
I have so many F1 questions right now.
Yeah. so it's a little bit different when you're competitively racing, because obviously you're trying to,
but in a general, like, lap time.
Yeah, in a general, like, just sprint day, it's up to the person behind. So if I was doing like a drift day and we compared that to a track day, it'd be like a drift day and a sprint day. If I was being competitive, like tandeming, that would be a grip day or whatever. Yeah. If I was doing a sprint day, it would be down to the car that made the mistake. Like, obviously you shouldn't be passing on corners. That's a big thing for sprint days. You always pass on straights, which sucks for BRZs because we're the slowest cars on the straight, but the fastest things through the corners. And people don't get that. White Audi driver that
No resentment.
no resentment, but he was a
Zach,
okay,
I'm not gonna lie,
stop.
mate.
I'm sorry, but
You're gonna get us one less viewer, one less listener.
you know what? If this one less viewer can learn a freaking understands that he shouldn't be going 40 through corners and then speeding up on straights, just dumb. Anyway, he was disgustingly dumb. Sorry, I hope really haven't have this guy right now. Moving on. It's down to the person that's behind the car. So if I was coming into a corner really, really hot, there was a car in front, he's obviously slower, and I brake too late and I hit him, that's then on me.
Yeah.
But we all take the thing once we're on track. You know, I could just walk and wipe my hands clean and say, see you later, no worries at all. You know, we're all out on track. That's the thing that happens. Yeah. But in all fairness, he had to make a mistake. So I, as a person, would go up and say, hey, look, I understand. I'm happy to help out for repairs if you need. Which would suck. I would hate to crash into someone else. If I was grip racing competitively, I would think that'd be a different story. We all go out there. We're all battling for positions.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I mean, like there is some form of fault. Obviously, someone will always be at fault unless it's a racing incident. And it's usually pretty clear who's at fault.
Yeah,
and then I would put that on them. But it's, different thing again. But sprint days, usually there's a very obvious fault, and that's usually the car behind.
Is there a way a car ahead can mess up so much that you would put them in blame?
On a sprint day, it's kind of difficult because if
you should be leaving,
you should be leaving enough space, and it usually is very obvious when a lead car is doing something wrong.
What if you were trying to pass and you're clearly like there's so much time, and then they.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's enough runoff that you kind of you're going slow enough. You should be going slow enough passing someone that if you need to use the runoff and they don't see you, then you use the runoff. Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to be very dumb. You shouldn't be allowed on track if you are the fault. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure it does. But
I was we did like the drift schools, and I really was proud of this latest batch of their track awareness. Like, so they all got up to level 3 pretty quick because it was a wet day as well. So there's no need for tire changing. They were just running it all day.
They were just hot lapping. Nothing was getting hot. It was wicked.
Yeah. But their track awareness was so well because like they got comfortable enough that we could set one out as the first one. It was a little bit through the corner, and it was like, oh yeah, set the next one out. But I'd see them go through the corner. This guy maybe spun on the next corner, and they'd straighten up, and it's just it's so far apart sometimes, the track awareness, that it was good. It was really good to see. I want to ask Adam a final. Have you messed up and damaged someone's car? Have you had to, or have you had someone mess your car up?
No. I've been worried that I would break my brother's car when he was recovering me once. That one time that I broke everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, nearly like, stop, because I don't want you to break your car.
Yeah.
It didn't, so that was lucky. But I was a bit like on the fence about it. I was like,
Is it common? Is it common for like? Because you kind of take turns, don't you, as you're going through like tough bits? Is it common for like a car to roll back and?
Oh yeah, there's been a few cars like just hit each other like that, like just like not really paying attention to sliding back too far. But then if you're hitting someone by sliding back too far, then you probably parked too close anyway.
Yeah, because that would be the.
I feel like muddy hills would be a big one where people would go up and then just not have traction.
Sometimes you do get like limited with space because like you can't stop in a certain spot. You need to like get up, and then you've got to be kind of close. And I mean that's a,
catch 22.
But no, I haven't been in a situation where my car being stuck has broken someone else's car, or I've broken my car trying to get someone else out.
You're lucky, mate.
I've seen it happen, and like normally the person's whose car gets broken, they just sort of get a bit grumpy.
I really want to tell a story right now, but I know you'll yell at me if I do. Because I think it's a bit long-winded.
Yeah, we're approaching the end of this podcast. That whole time I was trying to think about like douchebaggery things in 4-wheel drive, Steen. I couldn't think of one.
No, it does I don't think it's necessarily everything because it's not as, I feel like if you went to the winch thing, that.
The winch truck
if they were
challenge.
doing that in a more competitive together environment,
But the
maybe
thing,
you would
the
have
thing
it.
is with 4WDing is it's always just one
Yeah,
car
yeah,
doing it
yeah.
at a time. Like if you're out with mates and you're 4WDing, it's one car's doing the track.
Are you thinking
Everyone
of
else
a
is watching.
new sport idea? A tandem winch comp where the two
Yeah,
trucks
yeah.
have to help each other out
Yeah.
and get through stuff.
Help each other out, so they're
Yeah.
a team.
No.
Yeah.
I was picturing opposing,
Oh,
like running side by side up a thing.
oh that's
They-
just dangerous as fuck.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's do it.
They do that, but not like winch challenges. It's like more rally, I guess, but
Yeah,
just
okay.
in like a circuit, and they just race against each other.
Yeah.
So I was the first member of the WUC to get noticed by
Yes,
someone.
he was. But to be
Whatever.
fair, 66% of the podcast did not witness it. So did it happen?
No, I don't feel
I
like
don't
it
know.
did.
You know what? I can't even like get Danny's proof because like I was legit.
Did
Well,
anyone witness this apart from yourself?
mate, I need you. I need a listener. Happy 16th birthday.
Please make yourself known
Please
in
make
the
yourself
Instagrams.
known and
Yeah.
how you found of the WUC.
And if it matches your story,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
will match my story. So,
So you can't tell the story on the podcast because then people will just message in.
okay, yeah,
fair enough.
okay,
It has to be at the start of the next podcast.
yeah.
If you out there can message the Instagram page exactly what Brenny's going to say in the next podcast, I don't know what we'll do.
We'll give you. We can send a sticker.
We'll
That'd be
send him
cool.
a sticker.
We could
We'll,
send a
we'll
sticker.
send him a sticker.
Yeah, sure.
It was
Yeah,
cool.
we'll give you
It
a
was
sticker.
cool to bring up the WUC, you know, like I completely wasn't expecting it. I've learned that at the events, I've gotten really good at being approached by like, or like, you know, nice things. I'm
Yeah.
not really good with random interactions
Mm.
or interactions in general.
Just talking in
Yeah,
general.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
very good with people.
Yeah.
And in fact, I don't like people. No.
So I started a podcast with the boys. No, it's just like I've gotten like I was like, oh heck yeah, sick. You know, like I actually flown into it. Meanwhile, I'm holding my sign like I'm working my, you know.
Mhm.
It was just a good feeling to be somewhat competent as a human.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was very cool.
get your
is cool.
WUC stickers today.
Mm.
Stickersocials.com. You can also buy a personalized social media decal to your specifications. You design them up on the website.
Stickersocials.com.
Probably won't be able
Put
to make
Brenny to work.
Yeah, put me to work.
He needs to do something.
You know what? It's it has its quiet moments. It's a harder moment for it because I'm like, heck, I hate when it like I like when I get home, bang out 5 orders. You know,
Yeah.
not bang out 1 order and then 2 days later.
And if you do
another.
hear it from the Washed Up Club, chuck it in the little notes. I reckon that'd
Yeah.
be cool. Then we can actually see.
I was thinking about a WUC code.
A
WUC
WUC
10 will get you 10% off. Unless I
Wow.
forget to add it. Then remind me and I'll give you 10% off.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for watching.
Check out the socials.
Check out the socials. Go
5
rate
stars
us
on
5
Uber.
stars on Uber, and we'll see you all later.
And
See you
group
next
robot
time.
kiss. Group robot kiss.
Good night, age.
Oh, which one is it?
Good night.
Good on age. We know you listen to us, like you're not everyone.